The second I opened my eyes, I heard a woman breathing next to me, soft and unsteady. Her breath came in trembles, and I turned my head toward the faint light from the window. I could make out her face, and even in the dark she was stunning in a way that almost hurt to look at. The bruises across her collarbone were impossible to ignore, and I had no idea what had happened. A belt cracking against skin, a bottle shattering. A woman sobbing, those wounds were ones I had caused. I had been reborn inside another man my own age. He was a drunken abuser, a total deadbeat. I had been Chen Zusheng, a man behind $1 billion empire, and now I woke up as the so-called man of this wrecked household. A wife-beater and a gambling addict. You are awake. Yeah, are you having trouble sleeping? I can go pour you some tea. No, you stay put, get some rest. I kept my voice as gentle as I could, but she flinched like a startled rabbit. All I could focus on was her bare feet on the cold concrete floor as she walked toward the door. When she glanced back, it was not at me. It was at the little girl curled up in the corner. Sarah. That one look she gave her daughter. The look in her eyes hit me in a way I had never felt before, and I had seen everything in the cutthroat world of business. It was like someone reached into my chest and squeezed my heart in my past life. I had closed deals worth hundreds of millions, sat across from world leaders, and had no shortage of women throwing themselves at me. I thought I had seen it all, but I had never seen a woman beaten down like this, waking up and tiptoeing around terrified of disturbing the man who hurt her. And still her first thought was checking whether her daughter had slept okay. I sat up and rubbed my temples. More memories kept flooding in. He gambled, and when he lost, he took it out on his wife. Shut your mouth right now, you hear me? You little witch, you think you can mess with me. The worst beating left Sarah bedridden for 3 days, and she still had to drag herself up to cook for him. He never worked a day in his life. The whole family ran on what Sarah made selling fruit at the market. 2 or 3 grand a month, and he took every penny to gamble. He would lose it all, come home, and let her keep supporting him. He did not even care about his own daughter. When little Cassie spiked a fever of 102, he picked up the phone at the poker table and said, I am playing cards. Call me when she is dead, let it go. So yeah, yesterday he lost again, no big deal. What is Sarah worth as collateral? Tell me, what do you think she is worth? Aplenty, she is a looker. Do not believe me, come by tomorrow and see for yourself. Someone is coming over today to check her out. That made me squeeze my eyes shut and take a long, slow breath. Sarah came back with a cup of tea, and I noticed Cassie shifting restlessly in her sleep. I lifted the mosquito net and took the cup. Come on in. If mosquitoes get in, they will bite the kid. Sarah looked up at me in total disbelief, like she could not wrap her head around hearing those words from a man who only ever hit or screamed at her. He climbed into bed to settle Cassie down, and Cassie lay with her back to me, her whole body just a little bit tense, and after a long, quiet moment, she whispered, You cannot sleep, right? I made a soft sound of agreement, reading that as a signal. Her fingers trembled as she reached for the buttons on her nightgown. The bed is creaking, keep it down. Her voice was flat, like someone who had given up fighting, and my head went completely blank. I understood in an instant. The man before me had made his wife do this right next to their daughter. Just to keep her from making a scene, a wave of disgust and fury crashed through me, followed by something even sharper, a deep and aching heartbreak. I reached out and grabbed her hand before she could undo another button. Sarah. I looked her in the eyes and said her name out loud for the very first time, like it actually meant something. Listen, you do not have to do this anymore, she shuddered head to toe. Her eyes went wide, flooded with shock and confusion, and underneath it all, a tiny fragile flicker of hope she did not dare to feel get some sleep. I'm going to give you and Cassie a real life, I said it out loud, and the plan in my head suddenly became crystal clear. I was wide awake before sunrise the next morning, not out of habit, but because there was a fire in my chest telling me to start changing things right now. It was burning me up too bad to sleep. Sarah was already moving as quietly as possible. Sorry, Cassie got out of bed and jumped when she saw my eyes open. Oh, sorry. I woke up on my own, I sat up. I will go pick up Cassie today and then come with you to the stand. Business has been slow lately. I could see she thought I was coming to take money again. Fear had become second nature to her, but I did not explain myself this time. I got up and walked to the kitchen. The fridge had a few eggs, and a bowl of cold leftover rice sitting there looking lonely. When 2 plates of golden crispy fried rice hit the table, Sarah and Cassie just stood there staring, like they were watching something they could not explain. Cassie tilted her little face up. Mommy, Daddy can cook. Sarah did not answer. She just looked at me with this complicated expression. The market was loud and lively, and I stood in front of Sarah's fruit stall. Frowning slightly, it was way too bare bones. Just one kind of apple piled up messily with a crooked handwritten sign saying $3.80 a pound. The lady selling vegetables next door hollered over, Hey, look who showed up to help out today, must be a cold day in hell. I did not even glance her way. My brain was already running the numbers. Only one product, zero competitive edge, rigid pricing. Margins too thin, foot traffic way too low. Absolutely nothing drawing people in. Sarah had to go pay the vendor fee. Before she left, she gave me a nervous look and said quietly, The apples cost me $2 each, got it, go ahead. She kept glancing back as she walked away, and I crouched down, picked up one of those thin red plastic bags and felt the weight of it. Then I looked around at the crowd walking past, completely ignoring the little stall. In a split second, the whole plan snapped into place. I grabbed the cardboard from a nearby crate, picked up a marker off the ground, and wrote 2 lines in big, bold letters. Then without hesitating, I tore down the old price sign and put the new one right where everyone could see it. The neighbor lady poked her head over and burst out laughing. $20 a bag, fill it yourself, Chen Zuisheng. Your brain is straight up pickled in alcohol. You are going to lose your pants on this one. I slowly straightened up, smiled, and looked over at her. Ma'am, you cannot just count apples per pound. I am not trying to squeeze profit out of one bag. I need to clear out all the inventory as fast as possible. Get the cash back in hand and breathe some life into this dead-end stall. The new sign worked fast. A guy came over to take a look. Hey man, $20, fill the bag yourself, for real, these sweet or what? I grabbed an apple off the pile, peeled it in one quick move, and held it out. Try it, you tell me if it is sweet. He took a bite and without saying another word, grabbed the bag and started loading it up. Stuffing it like he was trying to make it burst, I smiled to myself. If you can carry the bag, the apples are yours. That line busted the floodgates open and the crowd swarmed in. $20 was not much, but the words "fill it yourself" lit up something primal in people, and they could not help themselves. The neighbor lady's smile froze. Her mouth hung open, watching the frenzy and the apples disappearing by the second. Her scale weight slipped out of her hand and she did not even bother picking it up. Sarah had finished paying and was heading back when she spotted her own stall buried under a crowd from halfway down the lane. Her face drained white. She was sure I had caused some kind of disaster. She shoved her way through, and the sight that greeted her stopped her cold. She saw me standing behind the stall, no groveling, no blowing up, just standing there, steady, taking money and handing out bags. While everyone around her was going crazy, grabbing her apples, the same apples that used to sit there all day barely selling, were visibly vanishing right before her eyes when she spotted the $20 fill it yourself sign. She went pale. Are you out of your mind? $20, fill the bag, we are going to lose everything, relax. I pointed at those bags. A full one holds maybe 5 pounds max. We are still making money. Look at them. They think they are getting a steal and they are lining up to hand us cash. She stood there blinking, then looked at the line. How much have we made? Almost $500. She stared at me with wide eyes like she was looking at a total stranger. The apples were almost gone and there was still a line stretching back. I asked her, do you want to restock? The people in line immediately started hollering. Hey man, go get more apples. Sarah grabbed her phone right away. Following my lead, she ordered a full truckload. Our supplier Larry drove over, took one look at the scene and just shook his head in amazement. Alright, almost time to go pick up Cassie. We sold out the whole truck. Not bad at all. Larry counted on his fingers and his jaw dropped. Holy cow, we moved over 1,000 pounds today. Sarah could barely believe it. How much did we make? Revenue is around 4,300. I said it like it was pocket change. But this was the first step toward getting this family back on its feet. Sarah looked dazed. She used to struggle to earn this much in a whole month. After we packed up the stall, I pulled Sarah along to go buy groceries. Fish, pork, ribs, we spent close to 300. Sarah opened her mouth, then said nothing. I knew she was worried about the money, but today we had to celebrate. We picked up Cassie, and the little girl saw my arms full of groceries and burst into happy little jumps. Daddy, are we having a big dinner tonight? You bet. Sweet and sour fish and braised ribs. I bent down and gave her cheek a little nuzzle. Yay, I love Daddy the most. She bounced all around me and Sarah watched us, and something in her eyes went soft. This house used to hold nothing but silence and fear, and now for the first time it had just a little warmth. The 3 of us walked home talking and laughing. Cassie chattering non-stop with a faint smile finally on Sarah's face. This right here was everything I came back for. We were passing the little corner store at the alley when Cassie suddenly tugged at my sleeve, her eyes all lit up. Pointing at a glass tank inside the shop, Daddy, look, little red goldfish. They are so pretty. They were just plain ordinary goldfish worth a few bucks each. But in Cassie's eyes, they were treasure. All right, Daddy, we'll get you one. Sarah turned back. I am going to head in and wash the vegetables. Do not take too long. She grabbed the groceries and walked with a light step toward the old rundown building a dozen yards away. I held Cassie, and we picked out a fish together. Right. As I was paying, I caught something out of the corner of my eye, a few figures drifting up to my front door. Blocking Sarah, who was pulling out her keys, my stomach dropped. We have been waiting on you for a while, sweetheart. Sarah visibly startled. She stepped back and watched them warily, trying to figure out what they wanted. The blonde guy grinned and leaned in. Just here to give you a little heads up, babe. Your man Chen lost last night at the poker table and put you up as collateral with his phone gone. He said the boys could have a good time with you. Sarah swayed on her feet. The grocery slipped from her hands and hit the ground. Her face went completely white. Every bit of strength drained right out of her. I rushed over and Sarah had already turned around, her back to the thugs facing me as I ran toward her. Every bit of color had drained from her face, and tears were pouring down silently. She looked at me holding our daughter, carrying the little fish tank, walking toward her like some decent father. Her lips were trembling, like she was trying to say something, and then I heard it. Chen Zuisheng, you spent a whole day putting on this little act, just to trick me into walking into this nightmare. She bent down and snatched up the groceries she had dropped. and hurled them at me with everything she had. I hate you. I want a divorce. The groceries hit me and scattered all over the ground. Cassie was terrified and burst into tears. Mommy, please do not hit Daddy. Before I could even say a word, Sarah spun around and bolted for the door, but she did not make it. The guy with the triangle eyes grabbed her wrist. Hey, sweetheart, not so fast. His hand started sliding up her arm and he grinned. Your man signed it in black and white. You are coming with us tonight. I watched Sarah freeze completely, the terror on her face even worse than before. In that instant, something inside me just snapped. Let her go when my voice dropped cold like that. It was something forged over 10 years in the cutthroat world of business. These punks had never seen anything like it. I cracked Triangle Eyes hard across the face and he stumbled back. Blood at the corner of his mouth. He stood there stunned. Every single one of them froze. Somebody kill him, he snapped out of it, and came flying at me like a maniac swinging. I stepped aside and drove my foot straight into his gut. He flew back screaming and hit the ground, dry heaving. The other three came at me cursing and I moved fast. Wrist locks, elbow strikes, knee shots, the combat training from my past life. Every move landing clean in under a minute. All four were flat on the ground, and I heard Cassie behind me pumping her tiny fist. Go Daddy, beat the bad guys! Sarah did not make a sound. I walked over to Triangle Eyes and planted my foot on his chest. Looking down at him, listen up. Whatever he owed before is done. We are square. You come back here again, I will put you down every single time, got it? He still wanted to talk tough. You still owe the debt. We will call the cops. I laughed, running an illegal gambling ring with serious money on the table. What does that get you? Want me to spell it out? I have got it all on my phone. Should I make that call for you? Their faces went white instantly. Sorry man, we were out of line. We are out of here, hold on. I stopped them and glanced back at Sarah. She was still shaking, apologized to my wife. They looked like they wanted to die, but they hung their heads. Sorry ma'am, I kicked Triangle Eyes out of the way. They scrambled off and the street went quiet. I turned and looked at Sarah, tear tracks still wet on her face. Still trembling, the way she looked at me held fear, suspicion, and deep hurt. It felt like needles in my chest. I stepped in front of her and looked her in the eyes. Every word slow and deliberate. Sarah, the Chen Zuisheng from before was worthless garbage. What he did to you dying 10,000 times would not be enough. I am not asking you to forgive me right now. I am just asking for one more chance. I swear on my life from this moment on, I Chen Zuisheng. If I ever let you or Cassie suffer even a little, I do not deserve to live. Sarah stared at me, tears streaming down her face. Her lips moved and finally she yelled with red swollen eyes. Chen Zuisheng, you are such a jerk! I am never trusting you again. And with that she grabbed Cassie and stormed inside. The door slammed shut, but she never mentioned divorce again. That was enough. I pushed the door open and went to the kitchen. Soon the smell of sweet and sour fish and braised ribs filled the whole place. I carried the food to the bedroom door and knocked. Dinner is ready. Stay mad all you want, just do not let Cassie go hungry. I am sleeping on the couch. I set the tray down and walked away. Cassie's little voice came through the door. Mommy, it smells so good. A little while later, I heard the soft sound of bowls and chopsticks. I lay on the hard couch, staring up at the ceiling. The road ahead was long, but the direction had never been clearer. Protect them and make this family whole again. The bedroom door creaked open just a crack, and I closed my eyes, pretending to be asleep. A few seconds later, it quietly clicked shut, but this time it was not locked. The corner of my mouth turned up over the next few days. I showed up at the stall with Sarah every single day. The $20 fill it yourself deal had become a regular thing at the market. We were moving over 1,000 pounds of apples daily. In less than a week, Sarah had 10 grand sitting in her account. She would lie awake most nights. After a few days, sales started to dip. So I switched it up and brought in cherries and blueberries. She frowned. We tried that before. Could never move them. This time is different. I split the stall into 2 tiers. Budget tier, 15 a pound. Apples and peaches, premium tier, 25 a pound. Cherries and blueberries, your pick, all fruit, washed, sliced, and boxed. Add $1 and get unlimited yogurt. Add another $1 and get a free pound of apples. The stall looked clean and sharp, and it stood out like a sore thumb in the messy market. We cleared 3 grand that day. What really got me, though, was that more people bought the premium tier than the budget one at closing time. She could not help asking me why. I smiled at her because the higher price made them feel like they were getting an even better deal. Just $10 more for the premium stuff. Who would not go for that? Business is all about understanding people. She scoffed. Oh, listen to you. Her mouth said one thing, but the corners of her lips curled up anyway. We pulled in another 10 grand plus that week, and the way she looked at me was slowly starting to change. One afternoon, we picked up Cassie and came home to find a man in a sharp suit at the door. Sarah's older brother, Jake. Sarah ran over excited to see him. Jake glanced at her briefly, then turned and cut me with a look like a blade. Hey, come with me. I need to grab some smokes. I knew he had something to say. We walked out to the parking lot and he pointed at a BMW. This car is worth over 20 grand. What do you think? It is fine. He pulled out a bank card and slapped it in my hand. 20 grand in their car is yours too. Sign the divorce papers tomorrow. Cassie stays with Sarah. The money and car go to you. Clean break hearing Jake say that. I shook my head. Jake, things are different now. A leopard does not change its spots. Jake's expression went ice cold. Sarah was the apple of our family's eye. Look at the life you put her through. Drinking, gambling, you think you deserve her. Name your price if it is not enough. Anger shot through me. I knew he was talking about who I used to be, but the words still cut. Give me a few more months, he cut me off. You are lower than dirt. Some small town nobody who went to college and thinks that makes him a city person. If Sarah had not been blind back then, you would be nothing. You people just want to marry up and cash in. Snag a pretty wife to show off, right? You think you deserve that. I tightened my fist, then slowly let it go. Yeah, I come from nothing, and I have embarrassed your family. I looked him straight in the eyes, every word measured. But do not throw money at me, it will not work. Give me 3 months and I will have $1 million, then come talk to me. Jake paused for a second, then acted like he had just heard the funniest thing in his life. He let out a short laugh, and I was done with him. I turned around and walked back when I got home. Sarah came to meet me, eyes full of worry. Everything okay? Yeah, it is fine. Your brother was just giving me a pep talk, I said with a smile and a straight face. She did not believe me, but she let it go. Jake stayed for dinner, and at the table he looked around at the old furniture and frowned. You still have all this junk, are you not embarrassed? I was about to say something, when Sarah quietly tugged my hand under the table. She said softly to Jake, Hey, he has actually really changed lately. He has come up with a lot of ideas for me, and we have been making good money. Jake gave a cold snort and said nothing just then. His phone rang and he picked up. The color drained from his face instantly. What? Mr. Liu is not happy with our marketing proposal. Were we not supposed to finalize it today? The voice on the other end was frantic. I could faintly hear it from where I sat. Mr. Liu says the concept is stale. All that live the elite life crafted for the distinguished few stuff, he says nobody buys that anymore. He wants to meet with you personally in the next 3 hours or the whole consulting fee gets cut. And your position is on the line. Jake scrambled for his laptop and started trying to smooth things over with the client. The client wanted it to feel high-end, but not out of reach, culturally rich, but still fresh and young. I listened for a bit and glanced at his proposal. The whole approach was wrong. Luxury real estate does not sell homes. It sells belonging. It sells access. It sells a future, but I kept my mouth shut. Got up and went back to the kitchen when I came out with more dishes. Jake was gone, his laptop still open. The proposal half finished, he stepped out to take a call. Sarah looked stressed. If he loses this account, he might lose his job. This is apparently the biggest project at his company this year. Cassie suddenly looked up at me. Daddy, are you better than Uncle Jake? Only one way to find out. I smiled, sat down and moved the mouse. Then selected everything in Jake's unfinished proposal and deleted it. Are you crazy? Sarah gasped. Did you save it? Does not matter. His whole approach is wrong. I did not explain further. My fingers hit the keyboard and I let myself sink in. A new proposal took shape under my hands. Community tier strategy, resource integration framework, identity, validation system. Piece by piece it came together when Jake walked back in and saw me sitting at his laptop. He completely lost it. Who told you to touch my computer? He was trying to help. Sarah jumped in to explain. What does he know about real estate marketing? Jake charged over, ready to explode, but stopped dead in his tracks. On screen was a clean, polished, full marketing proposal. But a second later, his eyes went red. Where is my original plan? Gone. His whole body was shaking. Do you know how many nights I pulled to write that? But just then, his phone buzzed. The deadline had arrived. He looked at the nearly finished new proposal on the screen, and his expression shifted. He gritted his teeth and hit send, then turned and glared at me. If this deal falls through, you and I are not done. The results are not in. Yet I picked up my glass and took a sip. Less than 10 minutes later, his phone rang again. He answered, listened for a few seconds, and his jaw twitched. After he hung up, he looked at me with a complicated expression, grabbed his laptop and headed for the door. I need to get to the office. I will deal with you when I get back. I just smiled quietly. I knew exactly what he was about to walk into. The ideas in that proposal were on a level he simply could not explain on his own. Sure enough, not long after, my phone buzzed. It was Jake. On the other end, his voice had an awkward edge to it. Chen, can you come to my office right now? Mr. Liu insists on meeting whoever wrote this proposal. Send me the address. I will drive over and pick you up. Jake drove fast on the way to his office. The car was dead silent. He said nothing. I kept my mouth shut too when we hit a red light. He sat there stiff and finally forced out. When we get in front of Mr. Liu, let me do the talking. I will handle it. I glanced at him. Sure, and get caught on the spot. His face went red and he shut up. We walked into the conference room. A well-dressed, middle-aged man stood up and pointed at the projection. Mr. Chen, this community tier concept is solid. How do you actually execute it? I walked up to the screen. Had the assistant pull up the operations page. What I designed is an identity validation system. First, residents have to pass a homeowners committee review. Money alone is not enough. They need to bring real value to the community, resources, connections, skills, or influence. Second, I recommend holding back 30% of units as a rotating pool. Invite top entrepreneurs, artists, and academics for short-term stays so the community carries its own prestige. Third, host a monthly inner circle forum open only to top industry names. Non-residents cannot even buy a ticket. Mr. Liu's eyes lit up. You are turning the home into a membership. He followed up with a few more details. I answered everyone clean. The senior planners in the room kept nodding. All right, Mr. Liu stood up. Eyes locked on me. VP of marketing position is open, base salary 500 grand a year. You and 500 grand. I heard Jake's breath catch. I smiled and shook my head. I need to help my wife run her stall, not looking for a job right now. Mr. Liu paused and I kept going. That said, I want to mention something. If you do not mind, your pricing on this development is way too conservative. The air in the room went tight. Jake immediately grabbed my sleeve. Mr. Liu narrowed his eyes. What do you mean, Mr. Chen? We are already the highest priced project in this area given current market conditions. If I am reading this right, your planned launch price is 8,500 per square meter. Correct, I paused. I would push it above 12,000. The room let out a quiet collective gasp. Someone was already shaking their head, Mr. Liu said evenly. Mr. Chen, you may not have a full read on the market. Anything above 9,000 in this area stops selling. That is just where we are. I walked over to the window and pointed to the vacant lot east of the development. First, the NDRC meeting minutes from last week mentioned densifying the transit network in the Eastern New District. Second, the new mayor's remarks at last month's construction sector forum specifically emphasized cutting commute times between new development zones and the city core. Third, the land use map. The Planning Bureau quietly updated on their website shows that lot east of your project has been reclassified from reserved land to transportation infrastructure. The room went quiet. Every eye in the room was on me. Connect those dots. Then factor in the new mayor's track record. Before this posting, he served in the South City New District. His very first move there was pushing through a subway extension. So I am calling it within 6 months, the extension line plan goes public. And the station almost certainly lands right east of your project. Mr. Liu shot to his feet. How confident are you? 70%, I said calmly. But even at 50, it is worth the bet because the moment that announcement drops, prices jump 30% or more. You price at 12,000 now. It looks steep, but compared to actual value 6 months out, it is still a deal. I looked at Mr. Liu. More importantly, once the subway news is out, affordable mass market units nearby will flood the scene. If you are still sitting at 8,500, you completely lose your premium positioning. Wealthy buyers do not want to live next to people riding the subway to work. Dead silence in the room. Mr. Liu stared at me for a solid minute, then picked up his phone. Secretary Wang reached out to Director Li at the Planning Bureau. Quietly feel out the subway situation in the Eastern New District. We waited 10 minutes. That felt like 10 years. Then the phone rang. Mr. Liu answered, and as he listened, his expression grew heavier and heavier. Finally, he said just one thing: confirmed. Got it, thanks. He hung up and turned to me. Come on board as VP of Marketing, 1 million a year. You and 1 million a year. I watched Jake go completely red and freeze up. I shook my head again, not interested in a 9 to 5. I want to be with my family. Mr. Liu studied me for a long moment, then laughed quietly. Fair enough, but I still want you involved in this project as a consultant. Name your price. I looked over at Jake. Actually, Jake has got the fundamentals down cold. He has fully absorbed the vision behind the strategy. Mr. Liu, I would recommend working directly with him. Jake froze. He looked at me completely floored. Mr. Liu thought it over and finally nodded. All right, I am counting on both of you for this one. Walking out of the building, Jake still seemed like he was in a daze. He finally asked, you turned down $1 million a year, and you figured out the subway thing on your own. It is all out there in the news. I told him the fruit stall needs someone there. He went quiet for a few seconds. Then his voice came out a little unsteady. Do you know what $1 million a year even means? I grinded for 8 years and I am not even at half that. Look. Jake, this deal closed. You are a hero at your company. I clapped him on the shoulder. Doors are going to open for you. I got in the car and left. In the rearview mirror, he was still standing there watching me go. He did not move for a long time. Jake showed up again at dinner. I raised my cup. Tea instead of liquor. Jake, I owe you a real apology for everything I put this family through. Sarah froze. Chopsticks stopped midair. I knew exactly what was going through her head. The old Chen Zuisheng never apologized for anything ever. Jake shifted uncomfortably and looked away. Sarah glanced between them both, then spoke up. Jake, did you say something to him again? I smiled it off. He was just pushing me to do better. Sarah put down her chopsticks and looked straight at Jake. He is my choice and this is my life. Whatever comes, I will deal with it if you actually care about me. Stop saying things that put me in the middle in the soft light. Her eyes held a quiet, stubborn certainty, like she had made up her mind and was not going back. Jake drained his cup in one go. He let out a long sigh and said nothing more, finished eating quickly and left after seeing him out. I turned around and Sarah was watching me. You were really different today, how so? I cannot put my finger on it. She tilted her head. It just feels like a really long nightmare is finally over late that night. I was making up the couch like usual when Sarah came out of the bedroom with her pillow and blanket. She stopped at the doorway and looked back at me. You really like sleeping on that couch, huh? She pressed her lips together, hiding a smile. Turned and went back inside. The door stayed open. Early the next morning, Sarah took Cassie to check out a new preschool. I stayed home going over the finances, thinking through next steps. Around noon, my phone suddenly rang. It was Sarah. Her voice was thick with tears. Noisy backgrounds. We shouldn't get to City General right now. Cassie suddenly could not breathe. She is in the emergency room. My mind went blank. I dropped everything and ran. The Zhu family had already arrived when I got to the hospital.